You are live. What's up, pill people? What's up, pill.net? It's your co-host in crime, Slick Nick. I'm with my sister from another mister. I can never get the pointing right because StreamYard reverses.
There you go.
Every time I do the opposite of my instinct, and I'm wrong. My girl to the right, co-host in crime, Ira. Y'all know her. How you doing tonight, huh?
Hey, I'm doing great actually.
Good to hear.
Kind of distracting myself from all my work.
That's the story of my life.
Yeah.
And down here, I can't mess that up. Brand new friend, Emily.
Hey, great to be here.
Great to have you. We are on our friend's platform, pill.net, and it looks like Woke is already memeing. This guy Woke has like he memed one time. This is kind of crass, but you ever see South Park? You know, Randy, Stan's dad like jizzed all over himself in a chair, and he had my face put on it. He like me. He likes to bust my balls. He likes to see if he can get me riled up on the air. What up, dog? I see you out there. Looks like we got 17 viewers over on Pilled. Holler at us, people. Tonight it is the new moon in Taurus, correct, Emily?
That's correct.
And Emily knows that because she's. I'm gonna screw it up. Astroyoga. What's the word?
I'm an Astroyoga specialist.
I knew it. Damn it. My instinct again. Astroyoga specialist, and you are also tarot reader.
I do. I'm a tarot reader too.
And last but not least, you're also folklore familiar, MA, I believe.
I am. Yeah, I'm a folklorist by training.
So, folks, yeah, we like to bring this is called. Oh, you put the meme up again, dude. That's like seeing a ghost. It's so. He asked me last time. He's like, too much. I'm like, well, I'm the one sitting there with cum all over myself. For me personally, yeah, it's a little too much, but to each their own. They can decide. Fucking asshole. Anyways, we're gonna have some fun tonight. We want to bring about some light waves to usher in this new moon because I'm only starting to understand these concepts, and I'm really happy to have you here, Emily. But as I understand it, new moons are for new beginnings. Is that correct?
Often, yeah. So the new moon is a moment of, so you've just released the last cycle and now you are planting seeds. So the moon connects to the subconscious. And if you study your metaphysical reality, right, you know that the subconscious is the piece of you that connects to source. And so if you want anything to happen in your life, you have to convince your subconscious to do it. So new moons are moments when you can actually convince your subconscious to do something with a little more oomph.
You already blew my mind in your first statement. That's like a theory something, just a way I approach life. I always tell people, life is literally what your subconscious sees it. So if you think it's all pointless and miserable and humans are parasites or whatever, then they are. Conversely, if you think that there's a point here and you're special and you've been purposed and all that, then you are. It's just if you don't think there's God, then what could God do to prove himself to you? Nothing. Conversely, if you're fully in, So might as well go with the positive, right? Try to manifest that as often as possible.
Yeah, our own minds do shape what we notice in our experiences often.
I kind of am still coming to the it's a crazy thing to come to, but I can't help but think that I think we might manifest our realities entirely, which would imply that we're responsible for all the horror in the world too. And I don't know how I get my head around that concept yet, but it's kind of interesting to think about.
That would, I mean, I would add some nuance to that, right?
Please do,
That would
please do.
depend on what layer of reality you're viewing it from, right? So can I interject my opinion?
I insist.
So in yoga, there's something in tantra called the tattva system, and this is where the ancient masters actually like layered in their conceptualizations about what the layers of reality are. So it goes from like the most rudimentary things like your senses, like, you know, smelling things, tasting things, to the highest expression where consciousness and matter have merged into one consciousness, one being. And there's where that kind of ultimate universal God force is, right? As opposed to like lower down, you have sort of like our other ideas of the gods, right? Or the planets or whatever you want to put there. And so like there's a veil though in there. There's a veil where we lose our ability to see that we are the top thing. And so like if you truly identify with the top thing, which would be in the physical form nearly impossible to do, then you could say like from this one thing comes all other things. But then you would be taking responsibility for everything in a state that you are not presently in because of the veils that cause the dissolution of reality, right? So I don't know. So there's
you can't be God
yeah.
if you don't have all God's powers, kind of thing, at that moment.
Right, because we have the veil over our eyes, and that is a good thing, right? Because that I'm much more useful as me, right? You can think about it like, oh, you have all the clay in the world, but sometimes you just want a coffee mug, right?
Yeah.
It's much more useful in the material realm. So in the relative plane where we are separate people, of course you're not, right, manifesting everything. If you are surrendering to the idea that you are not something very big at all and that the true consciousness lies much farther beyond and yet simultaneously deep within, then you have that idea can come into play a little more from my perspective.
I'm trying to get my perspective there too. Absolutely. Wow, you summed it up very well. Let's we're dropping some bombs already, guys. I almost like just I don't even know where to begin because we want to get into the birth charts, right? I don't even understand. I guess how would you introduce like for instance if somebody's just watching this for the first time and doesn't understand astrology or birth charts or the signs, just in a is there a simple way to kind of help us understand that?
To understand astrology?
I know it's probably a deep question.
Yeah. So, well, what I tell people because there's a problem with astrology, right? Is that people view it incorrectly most of the time. You either think like this is the ultimate reality, or you think, oh, that's not real, or you think, you know, there's all these sort of misconceptions about it. What astrology is the only basis we have for the concept of time. So when you're looking at astrology, you are looking at the time and energetic forces that act upon an individual. Now you'll remember that there's a layer outside of time. So astrology isn't the ultimate reality that we just talked about. And it's also not your relative reality solely. It's the middle ground that's acting on your relative reality. So it's a way of seeing and reading the energetic forces that make up the timing and the energetic experience of a life, of an individual, place, event, etc.
Wow, that's deep. That's cool. All right, any thought on that, or so far, or are you mind blown into silence?
I mean, same. I'm mind blown. But yeah, I think she's definitely right about that. I think maybe astrology is like a really good manual, but it isn't really a thing that you should go by. Like, it's something that helps you a lot to understand yourself, but also makes you reach outside of that and discover yourself. I think that's what I think about it.
Yeah, and you can definitely use the forces in your chart to self-actualize. So there's like when we look at your chart, and I'll explain this, there's a range, right? There's like most of us. So if you put like total sainthood, best person on earth over here, and then like
right
over
here.
here, just like a dirt bag of a person, right?
Woke out there in the chat.
What?
I was just making woke out. I was saying woke's that dirtbag because he's ripping on me.
Well, most of us aren't either the saint or the total dirtbag. We're like right. We're usually pretty good, right? So we have sort of a vibrational frequency that we operate at, but you can always choose to take your chart toward sort of more alignment where you feel better, or toward less alignment, which you'll know because you'll feel real bad.
Yeah, it's like a learning tool.
Well, let's take my chart towards more alignment then. I got it up on the screen. Can you guys see it? No.
I think you gotta sign in.
It's actually my email sign up that I see.
I'm an idiot. That must be the link I grabbed. Hold on, I got another one here.
It's it was an attachment to the email, I think.
Gotcha.
There's like links all up in my emails.
Oh man, my inbox is a freaking mess. But yeah,
it should be like a PDF attachment.
Okay. Cool. If my email will load for me. In the meantime, can you kind of explain to us like what you'll be doing, what your process is, or do you need it on the screen before you can do that?
Sure, I can tell you all about it. So when you first start, so is this your first chart reading? Do you know much about it?
No, I don't. This is my first.
Okay, so the first thing I usually do is I tell people the layout of the chart, which we'll do when we get it on the screen, because it'll be weird if I just verbalize it to you.
Gotcha.
But essentially in the chart, you can see the horizon line. And so you want to situate the experience of the individual to the chart. And then usually you go through the major points, so the personal planets, starting with the big three, sun, moon, and rising, and then moving into some other places in the chart. And then you look at the energetic patternings, because we all do things. Have you ever had an experience where you do something, and then that thing you do, whether it's a reaction or a consciously done experience, triggers a series of reactions in your life?
Yeah, that's the story of my life.
Right? For ill or good, right?
Yeah.
So the astrology chart will show that. It'll show how like, oh, if you work with this energy, these things might pop up for you. And so often people experience one or more areas in life where they get stuck and it's constrictive, or they experience a couple of areas where they have wonderful flow. And so you want to start to balance through your astrology session, figuring out like what activities can you do to actually balance that? What can you do to take what is unconscious, so not subconscious, that thing that connects you to God, but unconscious, like things that could be conscious that are just
you're missing them or whatever. Yeah.
We're just trash bagging our lives or whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
To bring those into your own directive power so that you can be, and when we talk about sainthood, we sometimes think like, well, I don't want to be a saint, they're boring, right? But not like that, like actually to the manifestation of the consciousness that has moved into a solar aspect of itself. So it's exciting.
Wow. So the solar aspect of itself, man, I don't want to go down these dark roads, but I read some Aleister Crowley at some points, and it sounds like something like become a star or something like that. Is that?
I've only read a little Crowley because I find him
repulsive.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
But
Degenerate.
occasionally he's well learned, so
Yeah.
he if crassly does say some things that are valuable. So if he was talking about the solar aspect of the consciousness, from what I know with Crowley and his knowledge of tarot, he would be talking about the same thing. You find it in your chart, find it in the tarot, but really you find it in yourself.
He regrettably, I stumbled into him by I used to like be a nerd and look into like ancient Atlantis documents and stuff and read accounts of it. And I'm reading one and I'm like, this is like the most profound account I've ever come across. It ties together a million other ones and just so much. Who wrote this? And I go to the front, Aleister fucking Crowley. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? What the
Right?
hell? I thought you were just like a nut. You know what I mean?
I know, he's like one of those light and shadow people. Like sometimes you're like, oh, bad
Yes.
form, Crowley. And then other times you're like, okay, this is useful. This is useful to read. So yeah, discernment sort of has to come in.
That's why I tell caution people. I'm like, guys, don't even go down the road of Crowley if you're not very, very discerning and like based in who you are and whatnot. Because he's a charmer. He's convincing. He's with words. He's very clever and evil.
He'll take you on an immoral power trip.
Yeah, and he'll justify it. He'll make you think that like, you know, you deserve it, and everybody else. I don't know. He's just very. You have to be very well based to be able to read through a bullshitter like that. He's an intelligent bullshitter. They're the worst of the worst. So I finally have my email kind of coming up. Ira, can I send this to you? Because your computer's much better than mine. I have a feeling you'd get it up 10 times faster than me.
I mean, I could try.
I'm sure you would be better than my. It's just
I
shit in
can
the bed.
also try. Do you think it would let me? No.
Yeah,
It doesn't let me. Does it?
Yeah, if you share your screen, I think.
What happens when you click that share screen button, Emily?
It shows up like either like a video file or like share screen.
Oh yeah, it doesn't want to let me.
Here,
It has
maybe if I
lost
drop mine off.
permission. Follow these steps. No, it's going to make me like alter the
Except
course.
like a lifetime contract or something to give your soul away, or don't.
Yeah, or just like learn computer programming.
Same thing. Give your. No, I'm just kidding. Speaking of learning programming, I don't know if my friends that developed Pill.net are watching right now. Probably not because they're busy guys. And my chat's freezing. I don't even know if anybody's talking to us. This is the story of my life. Every time one of our mottos on the show is we chat back. No, we don't. We're liars, folks. We never chat back. I've never ever lived up to that claim yet. I promise, folks, one day I will, and you guys will be blown away. But anyways, we got to get this stuff up on the screen somehow, because that really is part of the presentation. And if you guys bear with us, it'll be well worth your while. Trust me.
It's nice to see it. If we can't, though, I can see it on my computer, and I can just.
I think you can send it, Nick.
Okay, yeah, I can send it. And I just realized that this email stops freezing. I can literally drop this image from the email into the chat on Pilled, so everybody can see it there themselves. Yeah, you gotta work. You gotta fandangle. You gotta work around the bar. You know, I'm a good jerry rigger.
Useful skill.
Yes, that's a. Jesus, everything's blowing up at once. I'm the least popular guy in the world, like most of my life, and then anytime I go to a show, it's just like things are ringing from all over the place. People are trying to get in touch with me for God knows what reasons. Oh my God. Who is... Side note, anybody on the app Telegram, I feel like people can invite you into these rooms and then... I don't understand this thing at all yet. Get me out of here. Oh, Chance! Chance that sent me your way. Must have invited me into this group. Rogue Chat.
Oh, yeah. I joined that group, but I am a bit slow sometimes at reading literally anything.
Oh, I'm the same. I don't even reply half of the time.
If you guys are slow, I must be daggone dumb because I didn't even realize I was in the group till right now, and it was just giving a bunch of alerts. Shoot, I didn't even know I was in there. Okay, nothing important right now, guys. Get out of here, everybody off. All right. And the emails, guys, this is, the emails, my email app is just not unfreezing. Bail me out, ladies. I don't know what to do. Nah, we'll figure it out. Maybe, could you text it to me? Or maybe another something besides email, like Instagram or Telegram, just any way besides, or maybe I can find another way to open my email. Ira, you have any thoughts here? You're the smart young techie.
I'm just logging in to see my birth chart, actually.
You see, no, bail me out, girl. I'm dying on the vine out here. Don't be looking at your birth chart right now. We'll do that out there. Help me here. Come on.
Maybe did you send it to me?
No, I can't. It's freezing. I'm asking you to give me some advice on what I should do. I don't know how to get it on the screen for here.
I can send you my email, Emily, so you can send it to me.
Oh yeah, send me. What's your email, or can you chat it to me? Is that?
Just look at the private comments and in the live.
I just got a text from my buddy Caleb saying the chat is frozen. Huh.
Okay, I'm
When it
going
rains,
to
it pours.
email it to you, Ira. Okay.
Emily, you have a hot date tonight. You gotta get to.
Yeah, in a little bit. It's not a hot date, but
Well, let me live in fantasy world for a little bit.
that makes it sound very exciting.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, I have to because it's like COVID-19 out here, and I don't have any social life, so I have to just pretend and live through other people's vicarious lives.
Oh yeah, are you guys all shut down?
In Pittsburgh, it's never been open since they shut down like however long ago. It's terrible.
Oregon's shut down too. My social life has shifted.
When you say shifted, is that a shifted how?
Oh, just as you would expect. Just
Shifted to not being a social life.
I used to rock climb with people and dance the bachata with strangers, and now
yeah, it's the little things like that I miss so much now. I don't mean to be like a cynic, but like everybody's like my mom and them are like, oh, it'll be fine, don't worry about it. I'm like, maybe it's just me, but what on earth gives you any indication that that's the case? When is this ever? I don't see it ever ending. Like, I mean, politicians and everybody alone, they're getting paid to not go to work. Just for that alone, why would they ever want to go back? But then, like, I mean, we have to, like, insist that they stop this bullshit, if you ask me, but that's for another day. Oh, Caleb said, no problem, you're doing great. That's my homie, dude. He sees me struggling out here. Guys. Some moral support. And Ira got it just in time, too. You guys are my team. I appreciate you people. Emily, this is the kind of family environment we have here on Pill.net.
You're just rolling.
Okay, Ira, so do you need me to help you at all? What do you need from me?
I'm just going to share my screen.
Yeah, just stay out of your way? Cool.
Oh, hey, look at that. That's your chart.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
For the people watching this, the sort of stuff we're talking about for you, they could take and think about for their own charts. So, like...
Do you have a place where they can get their chart? Is this website?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually use a website. I have expensive software, and it makes me look like such a good astrologer, but I never use it. I always use a website because I don't like the software. Nice. And it's astro.com. You can get a really good one.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Well, let's get into my dirt, people.
Yeah, I actually can't see it on the screen enough, so I'm going to get... Here. Oh, wow. Oh, before we do it, though, can I confirm your birth time to make sure we actually got the right chart drawn up?
Sure can.
So you were born January 2nd, 1987.
Correct.
In Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Represent.
At 6:43 p.m.
Correct.
Boom. Okay. So this is your chart, Nick.
Okay.
Step 1. Recognize this is your chart. Step 2.
Okay, I'm with you.
Look at the X in the middle of the chart. That is you at the time and place of your birth. So X marks the spot.
Wow, let me pull this up full screen so I can really see it.
Which is cool because the esoteric symbol of the cross or the X is symbolic of actually the physical form, the earth plane. So that's you on the earth plane. And then this big line that's horizontal across the page, that's the horizon.
Wow, okay. Okay,
cool.
I'm following.
And then the other bold line that goes up that has an MC at the top and an IC at the bottom, That's the other axis. So that's what was in the middle of the sky and what was at the bottom of the sky.
Okay, so like the third dimension meeting the flat. I think I'm following. Right?
Yes.
Or am I off? Okay, cool.
So right above you, like at noon, you know how the sun is straight up-ish?
Yeah.
That's where that is the straight up point.
The y-axis. Okay, cool.
Yeah, from you in
Gotcha.
Pittsburgh. Okay.
Represent. Awesome.
Totally. So how I usually like to start is pointing out people's ascendant to them. And are you familiar with your ascendant? Because you're a total cat. Like, because correct me if I'm wrong, but you were born in the year of the tiger.
I would already you to know that. I'm not sure.
I think so. I think 1986 was the year of the tiger, and that 1987 wouldn't have changed into the next one until midway through.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to trust you on that.
So I think you're year of the tiger, but don't quote me because I'm not always great with that.
I'm going to quote you because I want to be the year of the tiger. Ah!
It's pretty cool. Everybody has 3 Chinese zodiac signs at least, though. So if you find out you weren't the tiger, take heart. You might find out you were a tiger.
All right, I like that. Good luck. Good luck.
So your ascendant is Leo, which is also a cat.
Oh, okay.
Right, the lion. Leo's the lion.
Oh shit. Cool.
And you can see that right on that horizon line. It's pointing right to Leo, and you see the first house, which goes below the horizon line, is all in the sign of Leo. So the beige circle outside indicates the zodiac. The red symbol is Leo.
Okay.
The first house is really important. The rising sign cannot be overemphasized. The rising sign is how you experience yourself. And like we talked about before about the tattvas and the layers of reality, in truth, everything you've experienced in this physical form has been tempered through your experience of yourself. Right?
Your lens, right? Your perspective.
Yeah, you are your experience in many ways. And in that way, the thing you said before is correct, right? You are the thing through which you experience the world. And so the rising sign says, well, how do I experience myself? And for you, the answer is in a fixed way, because Leo is the fixed sign of fire. What is the containment of fire? First of all, it was everything we needed, which sometimes Leo
You hear that, ladies?
express itself. It's everything, right? Because when we were able to contain fire, right, so much became possible.
Yeah.
If you have no access to fire, you have no access to, many, many things that you really, really need as a species, or at least behoove us greatly.
We can't venture out from the equator probably, right? Because it would be too cold. Even, like, most of the time.
Yeah, there's a lot to that. I was actually reading recently that they found a frozen mammal eating a tropical fruit from like the last time the poles shifted. Anyway, it would be great to be warm all the time.
Hey, I'm gonna put that in my back pocket, that little tidbit you just said right there. I'm gonna pick your brain about that later, that animal eating that fruit.
I mean,
seems like you had more to that. But go on.
Not too much.
Not really, bro.
I didn't do a deep dive on Google about that. But anyway, so you're going to experience yourself through the fire of the body, which is the spirit. And in particular, Leo relates to the heart. So to know yourself is to know what lives in your heart. And so your experience has to be tempered by that. Now, because of that, sometimes Leo rising people can be sort of fiery, or because we live in our heads so much in this day and age, you might not actually realize that you need to be fiery. But what should guide your life with this rising sign is your spirit.
I'm sorry, Maury's trying to give me some production notes in the background. If you just 1 second, so I'm not rudely, I'm not fully paying attention to you. No, I'm back. My apologies. ADHD, folks. I'm back. All yours.
You're back.
Yeah, sorry, that was rude.
That is okay. I understand technical difficulties.
Oh my gosh, I am drowning in them anymore.
It's my life since all my clients are now online. Well, not all of them, but most of them.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. You understand if anybody then.
It's an exciting. It's nice because I can reach people all over the world, and it's challenging because
Sorry, guys.
Zoom.
I think Mari was doxing herself, is what she said. That's why it was an urgent message. I get it, Mari. Trust me. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to blow you off. I know you wouldn't do it if it wasn't important. I got the message, and
It's all good.
I'm gonna put it up on my computer if it cooperates. If it doesn't, I'm just trying to think of a way I can post it in the pill chat. I got an idea. I'm sorry. I'm listening again. I figured it out. I don't have to think about that anymore. I'm back, Emily. I'm the worst host ever, by the way. You'll get used to that real quick.
It's all good. So you have Leo rising, right?
Yeah, fire.
That's where we're at right now.
Lions.
So
Yeah.
that means your chart ruler is the sun.
Huh.
Because the sun rules Leo.
Okay.
Yeah. Which has a richness and depth to it that you could contemplate for many years and get lots of great information from. I'll spare you my long-winded contemplation on that and just point out that your sun is in Capricorn.
Okay.
Now, this is interesting, right? In many ways, if you look from a Christian perspective, Leo's in the sign of the Christ consciousness, and Capricorn is the sign of the devil. Now, I'm a Capricorn, so like if you're a Capricorn and you're listening to this, you're not the devil, but it's the idea of the inversion of the warmth to the cold, and so that the seasons can turn on edge, right?
Yeah.
Which is, the idea behind the religion, right? Not to comment.
Yeah, we're not going there, folks. We're not trying to bash no religions. Don't worry.
Don't worry. I love all the religions, and I have healthy skepticism of many things too. But
that's a good way to put it nicely.
But it's all good. I really do.
No, I hear you. You know what? She loves all religions. I hate all religions. So again, it's the duality, folks.
I veer toward the loving of them, though, because I love astrology and I see astrology in all of them.
Well, yeah,
and I love the idea of God, and I see the idea of God in all of them. So anyway,
me too. Grand Architect or something.
It's beautiful, yeah. The Grand Architect is the tarot.
My dad's an architect, by the way. That's kind of...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So Grand Architect makes sense to me. It's like somebody had to... It doesn't all just... It couldn't just happenstance come to be so perfectly all one. The ecosystem, for instance, like if you took out bees, every other living thing on Earth would soon thereafter die because they pollinate the plants, which feed the herbivores, which feed the carnivores, And it's interesting when you start thinking about stuff like that, how we all interrelate.
It's true. And in the relative plane, you need these opposites, which is
you wouldn't know.
One of the keys to the whole zodiac, right, is the continuum of opposites.
So it's like a pendulum, right? Like it's always flushing between polarities.
It is. And if you think about our friends in the Southern Hemisphere, right, the people in South America, the people in Australia, New Zealand, they actually do experience the inverse timing of seasons to us. And so if you think about it, every polar opposite simultaneously exists until you have complete unity.
Wow.
Right, which is also the secret of the zodiac, is it's a circle, which indicates wholeness. So you're really not just Leo, Capricorn, Aquarius, you are a full being. Anyway, but
you're a deep chickie. You're a deep girl. I could pick your brain for hours.
Well,
not tonight, obviously.
You're not going to, because I am going to pick your astrology chart apart.
Cool chick.
So you have the sun in Capricorn. But it's not just that, which is so funny. Your sun's in Capricorn. Capricorn's the sign of building something. Often we talk about it being like the sign of business, right? Jeff Bezos is a Capricorn. Our billionaire Amazon founder, right? There's all these Capricorns in business. You see earth signs doing that. Yes, it is a sign of that, but it's also a sign of deep remembrance of the esoteric. So the sign of Capricorn is the earth sign that tends to remember. I don't remember the exact placements, but I know like J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote Lord of the Rings, had a lot of Capricorn energy in his chart. And, you know, he wrote that whole thing as if he were just remembering something very deep from long ago.
Yeah.
So you're holding this energy of the earth that wants to drive forward. The question for you, because Leo is fixed, it knows what it wants in its heart. The sun, your chart ruler, wants to drive somewhere. Where does it want to go? And so a central question for you, and this is in your house of health, of day-to-day experiences, of organizing things on the relative earth plane, where do you want to go? What do you want your day-to-day life to be like? What do you want to build? And where do you want to put your power? Because we all have our power, right? And people who spew their power out don't have much power left.
Mm-hmm. I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah, we all have.
Yeah.
But people who direct their power, particularly in this sign, because it is a sign of cardinal directive energy, are able to go where they want. Now, this is doubled up by a very interesting conjunction right by it. And so your sun is not simply your sun. Your particular solar consciousness, to achieve that, has to move through two places. One is the place of the dream, and one is the place of the mind.
Okay.
Now, for you, these are not going to seem separate because they are so close together. So Mercury is here next to the sun, okay, which, by the way, is the circle in the 6th house, if you're looking at the chart. So Mercury.
I want to show everybody on the screen real quick. You can see my screen, maybe. Unless I turn it off. 6th house would be like 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or which area am I looking at?
Oh, clocks. Like 3 o'clock?
Okay.
4 o'clock?
I don't know. The screen's probably too bright. This isn't going to work, people. You can just use your imaginations, you know. It'll be fine.
Just you can also ignore it. Because sometimes looking at the chart confuses people.
Your explanation's been very good. I haven't even really had to even look down. So.
You actually don't have to look at the chart. I'm just happen to be reading it this way for.
I like to have it to reference. You know, it's nice.
For fun.
But you explain so well.
Later, there's a little key in the bottom, and you can go. Cool. Have some fun. Anyway, the sun's a circle. Cool. And the sun is indicative of the way that we are whole. For you, your sun is conjunct Mercury, the planet of thought, the planet of communication, the planet of listening, and the planet of things that zip around, as well as Neptune. Neptune rules the dream. It also can rule the ways that we want to escape. Because if you think about it, having a dream is a form of escaping the present reality. Now, it's good to have a dream. You need to have a dream. If you don't have a dream, you'll be in trouble. But it's only bad to have a dream if you have a dream and then instead of building that dream, which is what your chart wants to do, you escape building that dream by using other means to escape your present reality. So this sort of Neptune needs to work. It needs to be like, what's my dream? Oh, it's this. And now your dream, you have an extra clue because it's in the 6th house. Your dream is probably going to be about what do you want your day-to-day life to be like? What do you want your body to feel like? What do you want your schedule to be like? How much work do you want to do? What do you want to spend your time building, right? These are the sorts of questions about this configuration in Capricorn in the 6th. The danger is if you do not, or if your dream seems insurmountable to you at any point, right? As happens. If you have a good dream, it will seem insurmountable.
It has been harder, more and more insurmountable sometimes lately. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Totally.
So the danger is if that feels too insurmountable, denying the dream and finding other ways to escape reality. So Neptune rules all forms of addiction and escapism. And like, you know, some people go do heroin, right? Okay, great. And then in our brains, we're like, well, there's just alcoholism and heroin that's bad. So what I'm doing is fine, right?
Right.
But there's all sorts of ways you can escape your reality. You could over-exercise. You could
TV.
overwork.
I was like, the TV, when I was gonna like cancel my bill because I hadn't been watching it for months, and I was like, why am I still paying for this? It gave me like an anxious feeling. And by the way, I was a heroin addict for like a decade, and I recovered. So I know what you're talking about.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But it had almost like I know the physiological feelings of addiction embarrassingly well. And when I was doing that to like, for some reason I couldn't pull the cord on, like canceling my cable, and it would have saved me money. And I was like, why is that making me anxious? Like, that's addiction. That's some sort of addiction underlying there or something. Like, it was wild. But once I realized that and I did it, and people out there, I have no regrets cutting TV out of my life or Netflix. I just read. I don't have Netflix or Amazon, none of that stuff, and I don't miss any of it. I don't know COVID-19 to exist in my reality. I hear everybody saying there's this virus, and I don't see it. I don't know nothing. I'm fine.
So when you do that, when you're about to escape, and I brought up heroin addiction. It's interesting that you are one. This is
right.
Capricorn energy likes to go hard. Leo energy also likes to go hard. So it doesn't
I go hard.
totally surprise me that you were like, I'm going for the most addictive.
Yes.
substance.
Yes. And that's why I realized, like, if I go hard, I'm like that. Period. So rather than just like dismiss that fact, I just go hard into productive things now. You know, I just have to like channel that into something of value or not heroin. You know what I mean? So, something like that.
Well, if you can, one of the most beneficial things that you could do with this chart is to verbally or through writing articulate your dream, your truest dream. And you don't have to tell me. I know dreams are embarrassing,
World peace.
Yeah, but for you, for what's personal for you, for your everyday life, what's your dream? What do you want to spend every day doing, or most days?
Nothing. Literally nothing. I work so hard that like I would love to just be able to earn a life of doing nothing at some point, but make it so everybody can live that way. Like, you know what I mean? Everything's taken care of and satisfied, and no troubles in the world, things like that.
Good.
I like to make other people happy.
That's good. Keep teasing that out. So keep, like, I don't know if you journal or what, but like write it down and then keep writing it. Write it down again and again until you've actually interrogated your mind enough to know in concrete terms, what would this look like? For example, how long does it take you to eat breakfast? Do you have coffee? Right? Like everything. Articulate your dream and what you imagine it to look like. And there's no pressure, right? You can change your dream later and whatever. But if you have that, then you know when you are veering off the path of working toward it. And so that's going to be very important for this Capricorn thing because, you know, it doesn't matter if you're doing drugs or if you are escaping reality by Googling which crystal will help your chakras for an hour, right? There's all sorts of ways that we can just dissociate. Yeah. So for you, it becomes very important to associate with the dream. And then even if you're escaping it, think about escapist routes that could, because we all need to escape sometimes, or most people do. Think about something that could help you escape that would secretly be productive.
That's exactly what I've been trying to do lately.
Good. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
That'll help your Capricorn situation.
Because that way it's not like going towards negative ends then maybe? Because like it's always going to be going somewhere basically if you go hard. That's kind of like what I've concluded. So you got to make sure you're going towards the right direction. Even if you want to escape, you still have to be not going towards something crazy. Yeah.
And even if you're going hard toward a life of leisure, right? They say that Capricorns age backward because they seriously go very hard. And then around the middle of their lives realize, what was it for,
Yeah.
if not to enjoy this life, right?
Yeah.
And then, so your life of luxury idea is not unfounded. And any dream, as long as it is true to the alignment of your soul, is a good dream. So just keep doing that.
I'm the hardest working person in the universe, and I do so that one day I will never have to work.
There you go.
You know? But hopefully. That's the plan anyways.
We'll find out.
Yeah, stay tuned, folks. That's a good tease. Slowly. That's important. Always make sure to bring that up to me. Slowly, bud. Take it easy.
Slowly, yeah. That's the other thing, is slow and steady wins the race. For you, take it easy on your knees.
Oh, what are you
Exercise
implying,
in
lady?
moderation.
I don't get on my knees.
What?
No, I was just making a sexual joke. You said take it easy on your knees. I was like, I'm not gay. Just teasing, folks.
Doesn't imply being gay.
Even if it did, I'm not making no judgments. You know what I mean? You do you. Who the hell am I to judge you?
But also don't push your knees too hard.
But yeah, but don't get on those knees too much.
Or don't like, I don't know. Sometimes people overrun or something when they have Capricorn right here.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, not like.
I just didn't mean that, but I just had to make the raunchy joke while I was there. You know, easy, low-hanging fruit. It wasn't a good one. I wasn't.
You're
very
right.
clever.
Yeah, it truly was low-hanging fruit.
It was so low that you guys didn't even
many ways.
didn't even know what I was saying. Yeah, right. The bottom of the barrel. That's my jokes right there. That's easy ones. Oh my gosh, we actually have people still writing in the comments over here.
They want to know your chart.
No, they're just probably mocking me. It's a bunch of woke memes I'm not even gonna look at right now. I want to know my chart. This is
They're
fascinating.
invested. Totally. So the next thing, the third most important sign for you is Aquarius, which is your moon sign.
Somebody anonymous out there is ripping on you right now. Nick has knees of steel. Trust me. You fucking assholes, man. You anonymous people out there. I love it.
Believe me, he doesn't have needs of steel.
Oh, now she's doing it. You're cool as hell, girl. This is
No,
awesome.
I mean from your chart.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought
This
you were
is not-
implying like I tried to satisfy you at one point. I didn't do the job. Like,
No, I do medical and the Astroyoga stuff. I do physical. I can read physical things in the chart too.
Really?
So I'm like, no,
Wow.
this is not the chart of a man with strong knees. Not that they're weak either. It's just
They're just-
they're
What?
not bound to be your strongest body part.
that's fair enough. I'll take that. I don't focus on my knees too much.
It's okay.
I don't
No-
improve them too often. Maybe I
Nothing's
should.
wrong with them though, so don't worry.
Yeah, ladies, no problems. I'm not defective, okay? Hey, you offer yourself up very often. You really do. Dude, I can't even look at these comments like they're all just busting my balls. I love you guys out there, man. This is great. I will be the butt of the joke. I will be the focal point all day if it gets us all talking and hanging out like this. This is fun, man. This is what the world needs right now. Like, loosen up, everybody. Just like don't take yourself so seriously. Have fun with your friends, even if it's your internet friends that you don't necessarily even know. What anonymous motherfuckers ripping on you out there right now? I know it's one of you bastards. Do go on though. Sorry that me and my hooligan delinquent internet friends are interrupting
it's
your
okay.
wonderful presentation.
It's really fine.
Good.
So you have Aquarius though in your moon. Your moon is in Aquarius, and it's a crescent moon, right? You're born in the crescent moon phase, so you're probably excited about like starting things, getting excited, and experience your feelings in a mental way,
Yeah,
which is pretty neat.
that rings true. When you say that, do you mean like I analyze the feelings, or what do you mean by that?
What did you say?
Do you mean like I analyze my feelings, or what do you mean I experience them in a mental way?
So yes, so analyzing. Oops, sorry. So analyzing your feelings is something that would bring emotional balance to you. Being able to go deep into mental analysis will also bring emotional balance to you because it's on the cusp of the 8th house. So you're probably going to be more affected by relationships, deep family things, and even going deep into things like Atlantis, sort of into that intellectual inquiry that goes beyond the surface and deep into the shadow. That's going to bring you emotional well-being. The things that could really disturb your emotional well-being is if people are like, I'm just cool on the surface level of life, whatever, man. Or if something gets upset in your like one-on-one personal relationships or your deep-seated familial line relationships, those could rattle you a bit more. Although with the Aquarius moon, you are unlikely to be rattled because, again, it's a fixed sign. So it's holding this energy of like, you know what? I might feel this way. You might feel that way, but we're all entitled to our feelings. That's what's equitable, and that's what's up.
Yeah.
You
That
might
sums
also,
me up.
yeah, you might also be jazzed about stuff like a little outside the box. The cool thing about Aquarius is it's the energy of the mind that's the most difficult to speak about because its very nature is innovation. So its very nature is thinking outside the box. So even the stereotypes about Aquarius cease to work toward it. So if you look at sort of like the stereotypes of the Aquarian emotional mental mindset, it's that, you know, they're talking about aliens or Atlantis or astrology, right? And they're kind of like looking at things and where the
Outside the box, right? Like deeper, removed third perspective or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, but you're going to find true emotional fulfillment if you move even beyond those things that have been fed to you by other people's theories and thoughts and beliefs and go deeper to form your own connections and to have an emotional connection to that. So you'll be really emotionally connected to innovation.
That sounds like a lot. I never really realized that about myself, but that's absolutely what's always driving me, trying to be innovative or unique or something. Bring something to the table that hasn't been done before, kind of thing. As a musician, I've always tried to do that.
That's great. What kind of music?
Like I said, I rap and stuff a lot, but I'm a guitarist and singer and write my own songs. Like I was like really into alternative rock, grunge, Nirvana, punk, like that kind of scene. So, all kinds of stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah, the more innovative, the better. Now, you mentioned music. You'll actually find a lot of your aesthetic choices in your Venus sign. So emotionally, you could connect to innovation. But there's a piece of us that is always seeking what we find pleasing. And whether this is through pleasure, through beauty, through what we just love, when you love something, you're like, I don't know why, I love it.
Sure.
I love it.
Sure.
That is Venus.
Okay.
And so when we're thinking about that, Venus for you is in Scorpio. Now here we have an echoing of this 8th house theme because Scorpio is the natural ruler of the 8th house, and Scorpio rules our ability to go deep, to see beyond the veil and to look into that space of our consciousness that is absolute stillness, that is deathless and unmoving.
Wow.
Yeah. So you might love darker things.
They certainly don't turn me off or scare me, that's for sure. I don't mind, like mucking around with the darkness a little, I guess, when I was younger. Heroin addict, There it is.
You might see beauty in that. You're also a native Plutonian, so you have Pluto in Scorpio too, and Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. And that has its own implications for a generation, and seeing through some of the bullshit that has come up and being able to begin to cut through it and not being afraid because of the piece of you and all beings that is in fact beyond life.
Wow.
Or relative life. So that's in your 4th house.
Wow.
If you want to feel loved, go home. If you want to feel loved too, do your creative work. Be an artist. Because you have Venus right at the cusp of the 5th house, which rules all children. So something you birth, right? Whether that's a music baby or a literal human baby, right?
Got you. I don't think so, guys, just to be clear. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. You physically might not be able to birth.
Not anytime soon, I don't want to. That's for sure.
Someone around you could, perhaps.
I just had my first niece.
Okay. Good. But anyway, the 5th house rules, it also rules debauchery. So any kind of like wild, fun night. It also rules play. So here you see all the things that are creative in some way and playful in some way. And whether you take it to the deeper, darker places, or you're literally just outside, like on the beach, having fun, right? Frolicking in the sunshine. That's all a 5th house experience. And I bring this up now because you have the beginning of what is a hallmark for people born in this time period, which is Saturn beginning to conjunct Uranus.
Okay.
Before 2020 happened, astrologers were all freaking out about this thing. Everybody born in this time period had their Saturn return. And Saturn is what's constrictive. Actually, do you know the mythology of Saturn and Uranus?
Just very, very vaguely.
So Saturn is a god of time, right? The lord of time.
Okay.
And Uranus is named for Uranus, who's the sky god.
Okay.
And in mythology, they're father and son, and they're in an inimical relationship. Like one eats the other, and then the other like bursts out of its belly and all this stuff. So when they named, so Saturn is the last visible planet, the slowest moving visible planet that we can see with the naked eye.
Mm-hmm.
So when they discovered Uranus, they were like, oh, we'll name it Uranus, right? Saturn rules what is cold, constrictive, and rigid. It also rules how we make healthy boundaries for ourselves and others, right?
It's also delayed gratification, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, delayed gratification can live there. The ability to self-discipline or discipline others so that they can leave you your space. And then Uranus is how you break boundaries. It's how you say, I just want to be free.
Wow.
So together they're having a party in your chart.
Crazy situation. That sums up my life. That's crazy, actually. I was so rebellious by the time I hit like 13 or 14 years old. Like I was just like, I'm not participating in any of this system anymore. And I gave my parents, I mean, they made my life tough too, but I was a hell child, like so bad when I decided like I'm not doing this anymore. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Uranus came out at that point. I was a real anus at that point.
Well, you know, these are in Sagittarius, which Sagittarius wants freedom also. Sagittarius wants to explore. And so you might find yourself in play exploring what's structure and what's total freedom. And like Uranus is really freedom, right? It's your inner anarchist. It's the piece of you that's like, what if I just destroy it all?
Yeah.
What if I do that?
What if I just said fuck it? Kind of thing, yeah.
And Saturn's the piece of you that's like, you have to work hard.
Yes, go to work today. Get up again. Make sure you build the foundation. Don't go crazy. Chill out.
And then Uranus is like, let's quit.
Yeah, fuck them. Fuck this boss. Fuck this job. Fuck the clock. That's all that. Yeah.
We're quitting. Yeah. So
I have them both. Yes, very much.
So you got that going on, and this is interesting because you have a lot of really positive, easy, energetic flow in your chart. But this is one that's kind of interesting. Is twofold. So it's across from your Chiron in Gemini. Chiron is the wounded healer. So in mythology, he's the He's the centaur who invents medicine, right?
The medicine man.
Benevolent. The medicine man.
Wow.
And this is real healing, right? It's not like
The medicine man of today, dare I say?
yeah, whatever.
Which doctor do you call them?
I don't even have words.
Me either. I don't even want to give them any of our time.
But many doctors are really wonderful people.
You're right.
Many medical systems are not intended to work well. But many medical systems are intended to work well. And most people who go into healing professions have these good hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll use a Western medical example. So once I broke my arm and I went to the hospital and they fixed my arm and I was like, great, thank you. Right. There's a great example of
yeah, my arm's still healed.
Doing what it's supposed to do. Now I can use my arm. Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Now, Chiron is like in that story, Chiron would be like your friend who says, hey, your arm is broken.
Thanks, Dick. I know.
And then you would be the patient and you would be the doctor, the surgeon, or whatever.
Gotcha.
Doing the thing. So Chiron is how you are both wounded and how you also need to heal.
Wow.
Which makes sense, right? Because we can only heal people where we ourselves have healed. If you are blind to something, you can't do anything about it in others because you won't even see it in others. Or maybe you'll see it, but you'll be a big jerk because you'll say, you have to stop doing that, but I get to keep doing it.
Honestly, when I was a kid, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's it. Go ahead.
It just brought up a thought to me. When I was a kid, I was kind of a prick in the sense that, like, I always put it like, if I was walking by a homeless person and he'd ask me for money, I'd be like, well, why can't you get a job? Why should I give you my hard-earned money? And guess what? God had to make me a homeless heroin addict to fucking see it from his perspective.
There you go. That's an interesting turn of events.
Yeah, I thought so when I was living under a bridge.
Time to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Deep.
That could be it because Gemini is the sign that your Chiron is in. And Gemini is the sign that can most see relative truth on the earth plane. So the multitude of individual experience.
Wow.
So there is that. So that's truly a great example of that, where in the 11th house, which is your community, how are you wounded and healing in your community? Or how are you wounding others and healing yourself in your community? Versus the 5th house, which does rule things like using drugs, right? Any type of play, any type of debauchery, it could be totally innocent, as in like kids on a swing set, or it could be, any sort of thing. And so they're in opposition to each other. So they're in a, not an antagonistic, but a deeply engaged system of opposites.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
I want to see if anybody else out there has anything that they've been saying to you so far. Well, I think of it because I guess I should pay some attention to these assholes, right? No, I shouldn't have. I should not have. I'm back to you. Forget all those guys. Seriously, go on.
So it's also square your Jupiter, which is a difficult aspect because it's like a furnace. They're at friction with each other. They're trying to go different ways. Your Jupiter's in Pisces. Now, Jupiter in Pisces is actually a place that Jupiter really likes to be. But Jupiter expands things. And when Jupiter squares that Saturn-Uranus component, he can expand that so that your awareness begins to get more and more aware of this. And what it actually forms is a T-square with Chiron.
T-square. My dad's an architect, and he always loved the T-square. He was such a nerd about the T-square. Wow. Cool.
Well, the T-square is a crazy aspect in astrology that many people's charts have. It's like a furnace. You can easily get stuck in one place And then you feel like, oh, nothing's happening, I'm trapped, right? Or you can convince the energy to flow beneficially. For you, this would be by setting appropriate boundaries for yourself while also seeking freedom, by allowing yourself to enter into transcendental, energetic exploration and work on healing yourself while doing sort of lighthearted exploration in your community. And if you can do all those things at once and not get stuck, then you have what's like a super furnace to drive you forward. It's like you have an engine in your chart.
Remind me to ask you to write those down for me after this show, because I'm going to keep that in mind.
This, by the way, could make you rich.
Oh, I see that.
Just you, not all people.
I don't care about anybody else.
It isn't like
I'm
all
just kidding.
T-square. It's just where your T-square points to energetically after the fact, which we probably don't have time to get into because eventually I have to go and my computer will die.
Cliffhanger, round 2, folks. We're going to have her back. She's going to have to show up again.
But not quite yet. But one other thing I want to bring up to you is where Mars is. So Mars is also joining the square. Mars is in Pisces.
And where's that on the clock? I want to look at it real quick.
It looks like the symbol that you see for on the clock.
Like, is it at
like 1 p.m.? Mars is the circle with the arrow, which is used for the male symbol sometimes.
Oh, okay. It looks like a penis. I know what you're talking about. Cool. I'm with it. Found it. Right? I mean, is that, or was that like, I always thought like that was like the, and like the other one kind of looks like a vagina you would represent, you know, the female symbol? Or am I like just being perverted when I thought that even as a kid, like that was like the male penis symbol or whatever.
Sort of. I mean, it depends where you get your information, right? Like some people say that, who's the woman who stared in the mirror who's like a vein? Is it
Blavatsky maybe, or?
It might be, I can't remember, but the woman's, like, some people say Venus is supposed to look like a hand mirror. I forget what they say Mars is supposed to look like. Truly, there's esoteric symbolism in the circle and the cross. So Mars is actually directional energy coming from your solar consciousness, which is why the circle and then the arrow.
Oh, okay, so it's direction, yeah.
Yeah, so it's Earth raised above solar consciousness. So we're manipulating something that's already perfect when we use Mars. And then with Venus, it's raising the solar consciousness out of the Earth plane. So your symbologist friends can get down with the party, but each of these symbols are very specific in why they are that way, because they're describing the nature of the movement of energy in reality to move through you. So like, you just need to study, or you don't have to study it, but if anybody's interested in that, they can look up the crescent, the cross, and the circle. And if you think about that, you'll quickly understand like, oh, that's the real reason. But it is a more masculine sign, so you're not wrong. And yeah, there's something about the phallus that is very Martian because it is directional. And in both men and women, right? And all people, Mars rules the physical drive. That includes the sex drive. That also includes hunger, the urge to move your body. The zodiac is broken into masculinity and femininity. The point is you have both inside you, right? And right. Different people express at different edges of the spectrum. And just because like, if you're a woman with many masculine signs or a man with many feminine signs, that doesn't mean you self-present as feminine or masculine.
Gotcha.
But people, for example, your Mars sign, which is masculine, is in a feminine sign, a water sign. So I could riff on some things here, but I won't because
the interest of time, I guess.
Yeah, and like don't get me started on the fire and the water metaphor, but fire.
Don't tempt me with a good time, lady.
But anyway, you are going to be driven toward experiencing spirituality. You might also be driven toward escapism, which Pisces also rules. So you see this echoing, right? You see this sort of reverberation of another arrow, which is down there where your Saturn and Uranus are, which is Sagittarius. And then something very swirling with the Mars. So you have this sort of recurring theme of what does it mean to be self-contained, and what does it mean to go towards something hard?
Wow.
So you have to decide, what do I want to go toward?
Yeah.
Or am I fine as I am? Or is it both? Can I both be relaxed into my own true essence and simultaneously recognize that that means I want to go somewhere? And can I be discerning enough to know where it is I want to go?
I think that's the trick.
That's
I've been working on lately. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the trick.
It is. It's hard. It's just, you said it so brilliantly and like simply to the point there. But yeah, that's really. It's taken me a while to like start figuring that all out. Like.
It's yeah. Well, you know, you were given these charts. In some ways, they represent our capacity already. And in other ways, they represent a map to get us to the place where we actually form mastery over ourselves, where we can move into that solar consciousness, where we can be radically self-actualized, radiant beings of like true ingenuity, right? And so if you don't know exactly where you want to go, but you think you want to go a bunch of different places, if you keep working with your chart and you keep working to manifest yourself along these lines of, okay, well, how can I do that a little more savvy, right? How can I be a little more, you know, we've gone through the first couple times. How can I
make it more productive this time a little bit?
What?
A little more productive this time around kind of thing.
Yeah. A little more relaxed in the self, a little more knowledgeable of where I'd like to go, a little more able to stand above while also enjoying life. So there's a lot, you know, it's a map, but it's also a destination, but it's also an inherent gift. So one last thing I want to tell you though is your north and south node. So I saved the best for last.
Nice. That's what we do here, folks.
That's what we do.
Come back for more. This is you're gonna get it every time. Save the best for last. Oh, no, I'm just trying to be my hype man right now. I'm falling asleep on you. People out there in the chat. Not on you. No, not on you. This is fascinating. On them.
There's also one last thing I want to say about Jupiter is that it's trine Pluto. So actually, you might want to expand those dark energies in your life sometimes. But if you allow yourself to beneficially expand them in a way that actually makes you explore something deeper, as opposed to expanding them in a way that makes you experience getting cut off from light, that can be really awesome for this chart.
Do you have any suggestions on how somebody would go about doing that? To me, it seems like it would be hard to explore the dark in a way that doesn't diminish the light.
So for you, because of the placement of Jupiter, making your home a sanctuary while simultaneously committing to exploring things in the higher philosophic realms. So we're talking like travel, the study of esoteric or high philosophy material, or even exploring into different forms of spirituality, meditation, religion, those sorts of things that look at the darkness yet raise you into the light. That almost to the ninth house placement, because the ninth house is, you know, higher education, philosophy, world travel, blah, blah, blah. If you can get into like a mystical state, and not like a mystical state, but like move more toward exploring that, that's going to draw you out of Pluto so that you can both be in Pluto and say like, you know what, something about me is obsessed, right? Something about me really wants to look at this, but to expand it to that consciousness of that, you know, like.
There's a reason for it, kind of like to explore but not get lost in the weeds kind of thing.
Yeah, and if you're ever really stuck, just go outside and look at the sky.
Okay.
and Jupiter will help you.
Man, I've studied this guy since I was a kid because it started when I was like smoking cigarettes out my window in my parents' house in the attic, like when I was like 14. But like I would just be up there for so much time. Yeah, I to this day I still look at this. I wonder how many people do because sometimes I point things out there and they're like, I don't know, man, why you look at the sky? I'm like, what? You don't look at the sky? Like,
It's one of the biggest mistakes people make is they forget to look
well,
at the sky.
they're too busy looking here, you know?
Yeah.
All this fake stuff or whatever, digital stuff, simulations.
My advice to anyone listening to this is go look at the sky, go look at the tops of trees, stop listening to me. Okay, one last thing. You have this really interesting placement of your lunar nodes. So your lunar nodes are sort of your dharma karma continuum. So like, what did you already know when you got here? And what are you trying to find out? And for you, it's Libra to Aries, but it's right conjunct your midheaven and your Imam Chali. So something about you, if you're like, I want to work, you could actually, with this North Node, if you wanted to be famous, if you wanted to be notable for something that you did through self-direction, you could.
Yeah, I have no interest in that. I'm pretty humble. I don't need like that kind of stuff.
Well, regardless, yeah, most people with the North Node there don't want to be famous, but
I always wanted to be Dave Grohl in Nirvana, not Kurt Cobain. You know, the
no,
awesome
you
band,
don't
but not
want to
famous
be like
up front.
Kurt Cobain famous with this chart.
I wanted to be like Dave Grohl behind the drums. I wanted to be in the best band ever, but nobody knows me.
Yes, that is the sort of fame I'm talking about. So
Cool. I'm with that.
So something you do that you are self-directed in might be seen as notable. At the same time, if you ever need comfort, go back to basics, go home, find some balance, invite some beauty into your life, eat some food.
Yeah.
That feels nourishing, right? That makes you feel good. And then just like go because you're because you have kind of a heater between these things and the sun as well. So there's a lot going on. Chiron's gonna be courting your North Node for the next couple years. So you might get to do some healing around how you want to show up in the world. And this area, the midheaven, we think of it as fame now. And it is fame, but there's an antiquated idea about fame. The word fame as we use it now to be like celebrity is not what fame originally was. Fame was your reputation.
Renown, maybe, right?
What?
Renown, the word renown, rather than fame, maybe?
Not even that, but like your character. Like, what do people think of you?
I try to consider that all the time. That's important.
It is important. It's going to be important to you. And so for you, making sure that the way you show up in public is aligned with who you are because of Aries there is going to be really important. And it's going to be something to explore. It's not something you need to do perfectly right now or ever, but it's going to be something in this lifetime you're going to be like, wait, when I'm in front of people, how can I be really me?
That's why I come out here unscripted and just try to be at the expense of myself looking dumb. I feel like that kind of allows people into a vulnerable side. You get to see the real person a little bit that way.
That's good. That's a lovely expression of this placement. So, I riff on these. I mean, I have clients who come back time and time again and I riff on their charts for 20 hours.
You're probably in huge demand because I could sit here listening to you analyze this all day. I'm sure these guys are all jealous. Everybody around here is going to be asking, like, how did you get that from her, man? Like, set me up with her. I'm like, nope. She's a busy woman. She's going to cost you.
More interesting than the dive into the self, I think.
Couldn't agree more.
So, it was fun to look at yours and to dive into yourself a little bit. And just remember, what we did today is the tip of the iceberg. You can take what we did today and you can start figuring out, okay, that's the map. and we didn't even cover all the aspect patterns, but how can I start to move the energy around? How can I be aware of when I go off course in this area that this happens? How can I be aware that if I get this in alignment, that this will move into alignment? And so you can start, you're the alchemist of your own being. So you can start tweaking, once you decide where you want to go, this is your map of how to get there. So you are doing it already, and you can keep doing it.
Yeah, with you by my side, I feel like I can figure out all this stuff, man. You're really, really intelligent young lady.
Thanks.
Damn, man, it's mind blowing. How really descriptive. You do it in such a way that I could go on now about how you analyze it. Like I could analyze how you analyze. This is really cool. I know you're trying to get out of here. I'll try to cut it short.
No, it's all good. It's fun to do. It's fun to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting.
It helps us understand ourselves, and that's what we're all trying to figure out, right? Who we are and our place in this world or existence.
Yeah, and so often people forget that they have a map.
Well, yeah. Wow, that's the fascinating part. It's right above us, and if only, it's there to be had, I guess, right?
Yeah, it is. That doesn't make any of the challenges we go through easier, though. Right. I can tell you from experience. There have been many times I've been like, oh, this is exactly what's going on astrologically. And I've been like,
Still sucks.
Doesn't fix the problem.
Yeah.
But it does show you how long that problem is likely to last and the energy you can bring to it to solve it. So
it offers you the chance to fix it yourself, but it's not going to fix it for you.
Yeah, you still have to act. Like if you go get an astrology reading and you're like, okay, astrologer, solve my problem. And they're like, okay, well, here's the steps you need to take. That astrologer doesn't live in your body. They can't go.
Right. Yeah. You got to do something for yourself.
Yeah.
Come on, kid, go.
That's why I'm an Astroyoga person. I'm like, here, if you don't want to take the step in the direct area of life, you can always do the energetic practices to align your body so that it can do that and you don't have to be afraid anymore.
Man, that's cool. Ira, do you have any thoughts? Are you still with us?
Dude, I'm just like speechless right now. I was just listening to all of it, and I was so interested in all of it. Yeah.
Ira, I bet you're jealous. You probably want one of yours someday, huh?
Actually, yes. Definitely want one of those. Maybe another episode. I don't know.
We'll have to arrange it in such a way that it's beneficial for Emily's brand to come back to our show often.
There's a couple of comments. People want readings from you, so that's great.
I'm sure they do. People pay their money. Come get it. You're awesome.
You can schedule them online.
Great. I can be found at. Seriously, where can you be found at online?
I can link. I can link it. The website. Your website. I just found it.
Oh yeah, that's great. And I do have a membership program, so you're all welcome to come for readings. That would be great.
Yeah.
I send out a weekly forecast, and I have a membership program that's a really awesome price. And if anybody wants, which is $27 a month, if anybody wants to try that out for a month, you actually get FaceTime with me where you can bring your chart and we can talk about questions you have surrounding things that pop up. If you want to try that I think I have an offer for $777. It's hidden from Google, but if you use the code ASTRO, ASTRO, you could, if you want to try it for a month, you could.
Guys, you only get that good shit here, man. We hook you up.
It's true.
Well, I know a high note when I hear it.
Good. It's all good. Yeah, but people with questions, don't hesitate to email me. You can find everything on my website.
Well, just in case anybody isn't in the chat and they're just like watching this or something, what's the website?
It's EmilyRidout.com. EmilyRidout.com.
Write it down, folks. You know you want it. I have a feeling you're going to be getting some.
Astroyoga too, I'll pop up. So if you Astroyoga, you'll soon find hits of my website.
Instagram's where you and I connected, right? Is that a personal or is that a business account?
That's a business one. So I mean, I'll Oh, I guess I do have one for my dog too, because
Got to.
dog people, you
Got
gotta
to.
you gotta get yourself a dog Instagram. Yeah, that's Emily Ridout Astroyoga.
Okay. Cool.
You'll see dog pictures there too, because
Well, because you can't get them out of your life. They're the best.
you can't.
If you don't like them, sorry, folks. I'm not going to change. The dog's going to be there.
Yeah, he's the best.
We love him. All right, well, I'll let you get to your hot date. What time is it?
6:40, right on time. Actually, we hit it right. Good.
In 3 minutes is my birth time. How about that?
Hey.
That's how we do it here, folks. Serendipitous. All right, people on pill.net. I will never chat back with you. I'm a liar officially. I declare it. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting us. Sometimes when the conversations like this, I think you guys understand how I can, especially when you're just busting my balls relentlessly, how I can just pay attention to this wonderfully insightful, intelligent young lady, beautiful, all that. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to be looking at you guys when I have her here, okay? So if you're going to get mad, tough shit. On that note, this has been the Common Sense Culture for Ira. Yeah, I got it this time.
Yeah, you got it.
First time ever, dude. It's been so many embarrassing times. Emily. Nick. Go ahead, Emily.
Everyone.
Did you want to say anything or point anywhere?
Oh no,
Have
I was
fun.
pointing up at you guys, but thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks for coming. Anytime. Anytime. My platform is yours.
Right on.
So you've been great. Honestly, you've been like one of my favorite. I mean, this is just really, really fascinating
this
stuff.
was definitely one of the most entertaining episodes yet.
I thought she didn't say a freaking. I didn't even hear her breathe. She's on the edge of her chair over there. On that note, we are out of here, folks. That's how we do it around here.
Bye.